Watch out, this podcast may contain adult content. We're brought to you today by Altered Reality Entertainment, the creators of Empire State Comic-Con. Check it out at escomiccon.com. And now, on to the show. Hello and welcome to On the Case, an investigative television podcast of me and Casey. I'm Elijah, and today we're talking about Game of Thrones characters ahead of the final season. Casey, who are we talking about today?
Sir Jorah Mormont.
Sir Jorah of House Mormont.
Yes, the Andal.
Right,
Jorah the Andal.
The Andal.
Khaleesi, please. Yeah, that's my terrible Jorah.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's real bad. You want to hear what my Jorah is?
Yeah.
Ooh, ah. You know what that was?
Oh, is that when he gets to the grayscale?
Yes, say I'm removing the grayscale from it. It's like, ooh, the nipple, just a little bit more there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had stuff in his mouth that he was biting down on, but yeah. Maybe you shouldn't judge other people's impressions.
Kinks. Yeah, the kinks.
Don't kink shame Jorah.
Kink.
I know. Have you seen like the 50 Shades of Grayscale?
Yeah.
I mean, it's my favorite.
Incredible. Can you imagine if Jorah's kink was now getting like scabs removed or something like that?
Yeah.
Because it's just like he's just so used to the... This went off the rails quick.
Wow.
On the Case,
Any
like we
war.
said,
Mormont.
investigative television podcast. We're talking about all the living, breathing characters in Game of Thrones ahead of the final season.
Getting all pumped up.
Yeah.
For the rest of the season.
Give us the full ride on Jorah. What's his journey been like?
That sounded sexual. Yeah, so the full description, I would say, of Jorah would be that he is of House Mormont. He is Jorah's son, who was the leader of the Night's Watch for several seasons before he was betrayed by his men at Craster's Keep. Jorah took the Black so that Jorah could take over Bear Island for him before he was super old, because they weren't that far apart in age. And Jorah married a beautiful lady. He was knighted after the Siege of Pike, I believe, when he was second through the breach with, of course, Thoros of Myr with the flaming sword going first. He was knighted by the Robert Baratheon, and then he got this beautiful wife, and he was the Lord of Bear Island in the north. But his wife had expensive tastes, so to basically keep her loyal to him, he had to find a way to make more money, and he started doing things that were quite unsavory and against the law in the north, like finding poachers on his land and selling them into slavery, which is why he was exiled by Ned Stark, who wanted his head, because it's basically treason, and he went and was in exile. He found Daenerys and Viserys in the east, and he was spying on them for Robert, basically to buy his way back into Westeros.
To get a pardon.
Yeah, to get a royal pardon. And he changed his mind when he started having feelings for Daenerys, romantic feelings as well
like
as
you
loyalty.
said he changed his mind, but really, the dude saw Daenerys one time and was like, oh, me? Betray her? I don't know about all that.
No, he was still sending messages back for a while. But I think the moment it changed was when he knew that wine was poisoned.
Yeah.
And then he goes, you know what? I can't do this.
Yeah, because I think at first he was just reporting on her, but then in that moment he realized, oh, they want me to kill her, or they're going to let her die, and that's when he was like, nah.
Yeah. Because,
I'm
he supported her
than
in every other way. I mean, he protected her. He made sure that she was safe during the whole Khal Drogo dying and the childbirths and stuff like that. And, she does find out later about the betrayal, basically from Barristan Selmy.
And that's also a ploy from the Westeros, because they like send the things, and that's what Barristan intercepts.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's just a way to throw her off and break her trust with her inner circle. And she, exiles him, and he tries to win back her graces by getting Tyrion, and then gets grayscale when they go through Valyria from the Stonemen, gets it ripped off as Elijah so sexually described with Sam.
His kink, yeah.
At
his
Old
kink.
Town.
His kink
But he almost died, and he didn't, and he got back, and he was part of the amazing quest of badasses that went north of the wall to capture the White, and he's still rocking. He's still on Daenerys' side, and he won her favor back. And it's been a crazy ride for Sir Jorah.
I only have one quibble with what you said there.
Okay.
You call it the amazing badasses going north of the wall. I would call that the poorly planned, y'all really should have all died.
Yeah.
Operation.
Well, I didn't say it was a good plan. I just said the people that went
were all
badasses.
badasses. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what we've had with Jorah. I want to get into and he's one of our characters we've been with the longest, and we've seen him go through a lot. So I would say he has a lot of screen time, a lot, not as much as a Cersei or a Daenerys, obviously, but
he's there with Daenerys in most of her scenes.
He's in a lot of the show, and so I think we've Yeah, he's one of our few like season 1 OGs still kicking as far as the like side characters go.
And he has connections to a lot of people in the North too because of his lineage. So,
all right, so we last see him.
I believe it was in Dragonstone.
Yeah, well, I think he was. He was on the wall with Daenerys trying to convince her to come back.
Yeah.
And like be like, no. She's like, I'm gonna wait for Jon, and he's like, why? She's like, for television reasons.
Yeah.
Like,
just hold on, he's almost here. Yeah. Like I know this.
She can sense him in her loins, growing closer to the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blood of my blood.
Yeah, but wow. Yeah, so we last. Oh yeah, they do get back to Dragonstone because they are deciding to go north together. And you're right, it's in the like the table where the table is that has all of Westeros, and they're deciding to go north together.
I don't think he's in the Dragon Pit scenes at all.
No,
at least I don't remember.
No, he's not.
Because he doesn't really know anybody there anymore.
No. He's in that last little scene where they decide to go north together and ride
exactly.
together.
Yeah.
You are right. We last seen him on Dragonstone, just kicking it. Let's talk about his top moments.
Oh man. It's hard because, like you said, he's had so much screen time, and when I was just saying like all the places he's been in his life, holy crap, the dude's been all over the place. It's kind of hard to say what his best moments are. But
I've got a few. You go
first, and I'll try and collect my thoughts.
So we've talked about this before, of course, that Game of Thrones, like no other show, does duos and pairings better than anyone else. Jaime and Brienne, Arya and Tywin, Arya and Hound. Just these two groupings.
Yeah.
Jorah and Tyrion. I did not think that they could milk out another like incredible pairing, but Tyrion and Jorah, like going through the brothels, getting to Meereen, like going through the fighting pits together.
Getting enslaved.
I dug them significantly, and like they made me care about that relationship really quickly, so that when they do that thing where he like gives him the coin back before he goes off with Jon and stuff, and they're leaving on the boats to go north and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I really felt that, and I was like, there is some earned and learned history between these two, and like I buy it. I really do.
It's super weird too because like they're very different.
So different.
They like he couldn't even like get Jorah to really laugh or anything like that, and he's just like all business and tough and gruff. But he kind of wins them over, and I think they have
values
a friendship.
Yeah,
it's more of like a mutual respect.
Yeah. Even if Jorah doesn't value Tyrion's comedy, he values his intelligence. He realizes that beneath all the bullshit, he is a smart and good and like righteous person.
They just had to get past that whole part where like he didn't believe him that he was coming to see Daenerys anyway, and also Jorah's at a dark place.
Oh yeah,
he's hanging out in the brothel. He just happens to stumble upon Tyrion and go, "Holy shit! This might be my ticket back to being by Daenerys' side. Mm-hmm. If I can, get a way to get him to her." It would be like this amazing prize that she could like murder someone that is a Lannister, but it goes a very different direction. I really like that stuff, even though it took some time to kind of unfurl. I would say one of his best moments is got to be, I think he's the first one that drops to his knees when she comes out of the fire with the dragons. Yeah, he is like, oh my god,
that's our queen.
I'm here forever now.
Yeah,
like this is the person I want to follow. This is insane.
So kind of bookending that moment. So like that's like the beginning of his like full devotion to her.
Yeah.
Bookending it. I love the moment when like Dany and Jon are having this flirt session on the cliffs.
Oh yeah.
And then like Jorah comes in with a hard cock block. He's just like yo, Khaleesi, I'm back, and she's just like Jon, making doughy, and then she turns around, Jorah.
Yeah.
Like when he comes back from being healed from the grayscale, and like she's like, you look healthy, and like he's like he's getting everything he wants in that moment. She's like, she has love in her eyes again. She says he looks healthy, and like she accepts him back into the service, and he gets to be what he wants to be again. Yeah. A knight in service to a queen he loves. I love that.
I would also say another great moment is when he's in the fighting pits and she's there, and he wins barely, and that's a great moment in itself. But she still isn't like, I could tell she's not 100% convinced. But when he throws that spear, and it looks like he's like gonna try and kill Khaleesi, and you're like, the fuck? And then he just spears this dude who's about to slit her throat. Yeah. That no one was like watching her back for that second. In that moment, he saved her life while she was surrounded by trusted people. Mm-hmm. And then the whole, of course, Sons of the Harpy ambush happens. But I mean, in that moment, she'd be dead if it weren't for him.
Yeah, so that's a top moment for sure.
Huge moment. Yeah. And he's had a lot of moments where he kind of was there for her and saved her in a way. Especially like the night that Khal Drogo falls and she's supposed to give birth, and she's like really scared, and she's like, I think you should wear your armor tonight, and he's like, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. Like, there's just so many moments where their relationship doesn't have to be romantic. I mean, I can understand why he loves her.
Yeah, he wants it to be hard.
Well, he's a true believer, and and she's beautiful. Like, she's more beautiful.
Why wouldn't you want to be with her?
And honestly, that whole thing I told you about his wife, he obviously has, an affinity for lovely women. I mean, he's not lost on him how beautiful she is. But he loves her for more than that, and it shows.
For me, for just personal reasons, I really think one of his top moments is when Jon's like, yo, homie, take your dad's sword back. And Jorah's just like, no, like, I see what you're doing, but also, I'm a piece of shit, and I don't deserve it. Like,
he has humility for sure.
Yeah, so for me, I'm, even though that moment's so small and it happened so quickly, like, that just proves to me who Jorah is, and I like that. Like that, I like that got to happen.
That was honestly some of the best stuff in that trek north of the Wall. People talk about obviously the crazy stuff that happens with the dragon and them being on the island and the fighting all the whites and the White Walkers. But some of the conversations we get in that grouping,
yeah, because there's so much drama between all those people for so many years.
Yeah, they haven't seen each other in years, or they've never seen each other. Like the Hound meeting Tormund Giantsbane,
and then like having that Brienne connection, and not knowing that they had that Brienne connection. Exactly. Yeah, like that.
Like he's all talking about how he's gonna like make her his wife.
Gendry and his like heat and hatred towards the guys of the Brotherhood without Brotherhood without banners.
Yeah.
Blah, what a tongue twister.
The tongue twister without
the Brotherhood. Blah, blah, blah.
But yeah, I mean, that's one of the moments is Jorah gets to meet people who were with his father before he passed.
And tell that story about Pike as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it's because that's the last time he saw Thoros of Myr.
Yeah.
Was through the gates of Pike. It's crazy. So, and also because Ned Stark wanted him dead and all that. So there's a lot of forgiveness on that walk as well.
You just made me realize this, but I think Jorah, more than many characters in the show, make you feel like there is a history, and they make you believe the world because, like, I feel like the performance that he's giving is like very rooted, and like I believe it, and also like he like when they're like, "Hey, you're an Andal," and like I was like, yeah, this guy looks like he would have been like just like a dude, like this is what dudes look like, and
Jorah the Andal. Westerosi Knight. Yeah, I mean that's one thing that as I'm rewatching the show again right now before the last season, and there's just moments where I look at it and I think, this is a very lived-in world.
Yeah,
even when it's a landscape with like almost no one there, you can just tell the way the paths are carved, the way they're walking, the way they know where they're going. And there's a scene I just watched where Melisandre's bringing Gendry back to Dragonstone, and she's like, "There's the house of your father," and tells him basically what his lineage is and why the Gold Cloaks wanted him. But the scene starts with an aerial shot of the boat, and it's going across the water, and you just see hundreds of boats under the water because of the Blackwater battle, and it's just that those little touches are what makes it feel really lived in, and that's what really great writers do.
And I think Jorah, like I was saying, I really think that Jorah makes the world feel lived in, like just like his armor, the bear sigils on, like just all of this, like the stuff that goes along with Jorah in general. Like I just really think makes the world feel real and lived in and old.
Yeah. And he's traveled a lot too. I mean, he's gone from the north, he's gone to Essos, all over Essos.
I just like his voice too.
Yeah,
if I could just like listen to him reading books and then make me fall asleep.
When they do the history and lores, like the exters on the DVDs.
Oh yeah, those are
he's
cool.
always one that they tap.
Yeah, that's a great voice.
Yeah, he is.
All right, so worst moments for the guy?
There's a lot. Being exiled is a big
pretty
one.
Rough. Pretty tough
one. Because she would not hear any of his explanation. He just had to go. Also, I think when he comes back from them taking Yunkai, and he's like, Yunkai, and he's got the sword.
He's got the flag.
And she's like, oh, but what of Dario Naharis?
But where is Dario?
And he's like, son of a fuck. He's right here.
Yeah, and he just like has all this blood.
One moment?
Yeah, like that moment on his face, like you can just tell, like that he realizes, oh, she's never gonna want me romancing.
Never get any of that.
Never gonna. Friend zone. That's the face of the friend zone.
Yeah, that's why they call him Sir Friend Zone all the time on the internet. It's so brutal. And then like he has to also like basically walk in like right after and
the morning after
and
with
when they're going
Dario.
to save her in Svas Dothrak after she gets taken or whatever, and he has to hear like all their fuck stories from Dario and the fuckface or whatever. Yeah. And he's just like, I don't know if you might be too old to ride the dragon, and he's like, go fuck yourself. Like I felt so bad for him during those scenes too. It's bad.
What of Dario Naharis?
Yeah.
You just reminded me of another top moment,
thanks for the city.
Yeah, you just reminded me of another top moment, though. It's right after the morning after and him finding Dario leaving the bedroom. When they have that conversation, she's like, oh, you know what? Tell him you changed my mind. Mm-hmm. Like, when he has that conversation with her, and she's like, tell him I changed my mind. He's like, no, tell them you changed my mind. And it's like, oh.
Cool.
Get some honor there. Get a badge of honor there. Yeah,
there you go.
That's a good moment. Other worst moments, it's mainly all tied into Khaleesi-based friends and
having
jabs,
to get all that
right?
shit scraped off of him was pretty rough, and having to be in that old town cell for God knows how long he had been there before Sam found him. I mean, he was basically just waiting to die, and it's sad, you know. I mean, it was probably pretty sad for him too. In that moment when the dragon dies, he's there with her. He was there when they were born.
He's been here since the beginning, yeah.
And, like, it must have been just as devastating because that's, like, the day where he became, like, a real true believer. Mm-hmm. And imagine, like, seeing something that you've watched grow that you thought was going to change the world be just, like, snapped out of existence like that. Like, in an instant. Your whole world changed. Like, you're not impervious anymore. These dragons aren't just a fix-all for the world. There's a challenge ahead, and you guys are not untouchable. That must have been terrifying.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. All right. Well, now we got to get to our guy's happiest ending. What do you think?
Oh, Daenerys falls in love with him deeply.
John gets murdered on the battlefield.
I have an interesting take on his best ending. It's kind of... It could be one of two things. Because, like, obviously, if his honor was restored, he could be the Lord of Bear Island. But Lyanna Mormont already is. Mm-hmm. And... Sam is holding Jorah Mormont during his last moments, and he has a death wish. Do you remember what it is? Like his last wish or whatever before he dies? Mm. It's find my son Jorah and have him take the black. He wanted him to take the black, and if Jorah did, he'd be like I think it's the thousandth Lord Commander. The only problem with that theory is if the White Walkers are all gone, then there wouldn't really be a need for a Night's Watch. But I think that'd be really cool if in some way he kind of took his exile. Because he's not going to end up with Khaleesi. He's not going to end up marrying and getting the island back. I think choosing an exile that has meaning would be really beautiful.
For my heart, I really appreciate Jorah taking the black / him becoming the Lord Commander.
Yeah.
My heart is with you.
Isn't that awesome?
My heart is with you That'd on that, really yes. Cool.
Yeah.
You know where my head says the happiest ending is?
What?
Actually, this is my joking brain. It's basically... the war is won.
Yes.
But unfortunately, all men are murdered in this war. All the men die. Every man. And the only man left living is Jorah.
Oh my god.
And Jorah gets to marry Daenerys.
And everyone else, right?
Because he's the only man living.
And Sansa, and Mira, and Melisandre. He's just spilling his bear seed all over Westeros.
Wow.
Jesus.
No, I mean,
that would be a happy Jorah,
if all the other men die.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if, like, he gets to be like a knight of the Kingsguard, so he doesn't get to like marry or whatever because he's not going to. But then like as a gift, like at the end, Tyrion's like, "Hey, I know you can't be with Daenerys, and I know that hurts you, but I got you the next best thing from Volantis, and it's that whore that was dressing up like Daenerys that looks just like her." He's like, "Thanks, imp.
Thanks, homie.
Yeah,
solid bro move.
Imping ain't easy.
Yeah. Jeez. Oh." Terrible.
Okay,
so yeah, but I think his happy ending is tied up in living through the war and being able to serve Daenerys until he's old like Barristan. Like I feel like he would want to stay in the service of Daenerys until he has grace.
That'd be cool.
In his face. I think that, but like
and
what
restoring
I said,
his name and his house honor.
Yeah. But like you said, I mean honestly, him ending up as the commander of the Night's Watch.
Yeah.
That would, my heart has that.
And if Jon ends up being Azor Ahai and getting Lightbringer and it's a different sword, like it doesn't just like take over his sword, then I would like Jorah to get the sword back for his house.
Worst ending? Sad ending?
Daenerys dies and he loses all his faith and he's just like a nomad out, you know, just like, I don't know. I just like to see him like as if I saw him as a broken man and Daenerys isn't around anymore and all the things that gave him hope for the world are gone.
I'll do you one better. Jorah's scouting on a mission, gets got by the White Walkers, becomes a White himself, has to kill Daenerys as a White Walker.
That'd be pretty rough.
She gets petrified. She can't even move because she's like, Jorah. Or she just sees him coming. She's like, Jorah. And he's like, good.
I don't know if he makes stupid sounds. But yeah, picking her up with like icy cold hands.
I think that his sad ending is just tied into dying without being able to, like, because I think he'd be fine dying defending Daenerys. Like, he'd be fine with that, I think.
Oh, what if Jon and Daenerys both die after Daenerys gives birth to their kid, and then Jorah has to raise it?
That's a sad ending.
That'd be kind of crazy. It's like very Star Warsy, if you think of it.
I'm into it.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. I can see it. Cool. I can see it. I like it.
It's like bittersweet, you know,
all right.
not all the way sad.
Jorah live or die?
You know, you cure him of grayscale. I think you keep him around. That's my theory. Even though I think he very well could die.
There's no way Jorah makes it out of this season alive.
You think?
There's no way. Yeah, I can't.
Why cure him then?
I can't, because they just had to cure him so that he could be in the fight.
They make such a big deal about it.
I know.
It was gross.
I know.
It was hard to watch. And I know. Cut to the pudding.
More connective tissue. People got to have plot lines, but like, I don't see Jorah living.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be cool if he did. I'd like it if he did, but
we know a lot of people are going to die, and he doesn't necessarily have an important purpose afterwards.
Yeah, I just see, like, if you're, I don't know, it's not that he's too old, but like, if someone's gonna die on the battlefield, like, he's up there for me. Like, I have a hard time believing like the Hound's gonna get murdered, whereas like Jorah.
Yeah, and Jorah's a capable fighter, but he's not that great.
Yeah,
like compared to some of the people that
Brienne,
we've seen,
Arya,
he would get handled. I mean, he barely won that like tournament.
Yeah, he couldn't beat Dario, could he?
I doubt it.
Yeah, see, like,
Dario's much faster.
Yeah, so it just. We're gonna maybe get into an argument with this.
No.
I've got one for you.
Okay.
Could
God damn it.
Could Jorah beat Jon? Because I think that he could. Because I don't think Jon is a good fighter.
Jon is one of the best fighters in the show. He just fights amazing odds.
He just always. He can't ever beat his boss fights, and he always needs someone else to finish the job.
Who are you talking? He kills a White Walker.
Ygritte helps him beat the Thenn.
No, he kills that Thenn by himself.
Carl Tanner from Gin Alley gets beaten by one of the women from Craster's Keep. Jon is always losing his boss fights.
Yeah, Jon
nonstop.
It's because they want to make it scary, like Jon could lose. But Jon is an amazing fighter. And generally, in all those boss fights, he's already fought like 100 dudes. He's exhausted. If he goes in fresh, 1v1 against anyone in Westeros, aside from maybe like a handful of amazing fighters, I think he handles them easily.
All right, I'm just saying, my hot take is that Jon is not a good fighter.
You're a hater.
I know.
Get out of my sight.
I love his beautiful head of hair. He's a beautiful man, but I don't think he's a good fighter.
Here's my argument, okay? If you don't let Jon take his licks, it doesn't seem as scary, and he doesn't get those sexy-ass scars on his eye.
Well,
those scars are dope.
I'm just saying, Jorah's got the height on him, so you know.
Yeah, but Jon's got the age edge.
Jorah's got the high ground.
Jon's the prince who was promised, and he's also a Targaryen. So.
Okay, so you think Jorah's going to live?
Yes.
I think he's going to die.
Only because they cured him, and it would be stupid. Like, when you bring someone back to life, like, that's why I don't think Jon's going to die. They brought him back to life, and they made a big deal about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Okay, well.
It's like, hey, we brought him back. Like, yeah, he's dead now. Oh, okay.
Jorah Azor Ahai? Nah.
No. Nah. There was some interesting theories about him after he captured Tyrion, because part of Azor Ahai's prophecy is, like, capturing a lion and stuff. And he does love Daenerys. So if the Nisa thing were to come true, imagine how crazy that would be if Jorah had to stab Daenerys through the heart to make Lightbringer.
Yeah.
That would be beautiful and poetic, but I think that the groundwork has been laid for Jon, and I don't think it's Jorah.
Okay. Any other theories with the Jorster?
No, other than him maybe having to lay his life down for a dragon or something. I don't know. I think his role in this is pretty clear. He'll be by Daenerys' side, and he'll fight to his last breath. He might die. He might live on to be a Queensguard or something.
I'm going to give Jorah, and I've introduced this segment before, the random awards segment. I'm going to give him the award for, just best face. I just like his face in medieval context. Yes. I think he's got a real good, you could have put him in the movie Knight's Tale. I'd believe it. You could put him in Lord of the Rings. The dude looks medieval to me.
He does. And I think he has this gruffness, but he also looks like a nice, trustworthy guy. Yeah. You know? He looks like he'd be a nice dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Training his sons how to fight with swords and fish and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then, if you cross him, you're like, oh, shit.
What do we do?
About to whoop your ass.
Oh, no.
Yep.
All right, so that brings us to the end of another episode of On the Case.
Yes.
Game of Thrones. Casey and Eli, just hanging out with you, talking about the last living characters in Game of Thrones ahead of the final season.
Who we got next, Eli?
I think, is it Euron?
Euron
Greyjoy. Yeah, go to the seas.
Let's do it.
Get wet. Get in the splash zone.
I am the storm, brother. Let's do it.
I'm
gonna do bad impressions every episode now.
Let's do it. Every episode, bad impressions coming at you.
Eli made the mistake of letting me have caffeine today.
Yes, as always, the show's brought to you by Altered Reality Entertainment. They've got a convention coming up called Empire State Comic-Con. Check it out at escomiccon.com. Celebrities, artists, vendors, and more.
Ice spiders as big as hounds? Maybe.
You know what?
We'll see.
Let me talk to the production designer, see if we can get you some spiders there.
Okay.
That are as big as hounds.
I'm there.
Yeah.
There's ice spiders. You know this.
All right, guys, check it out. escomiccon.com, Empire State Comic-Con. Gonna be tons of fun. We will be back talking about Euron on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
See you guys.